Okay, take two. I can't believe I used my old video camera. The reason I got this new one was because that old one kept crashing out and stopping on me and stuff, and so, but it's faster to download and everything. I wanted to get it up, but anyway, I'm not using that thing ever again. I just recorded like 6-7 minutes and it recorded 10 seconds. So I gotta do this again. But anyway, so now with some practice, maybe this will be better. I wanted to cover a few different things. Somebody said that I hadn't talked about silver lately, so cheers everybody. Having some antioxidants here tonight. So I'll talk about silver. Silver, nothing's changed. It's still should be accumulated a little bit every month. Just keep getting it. This whole fiat monetary system we're on is going to come down at some point. You know, this just world's flooded with debt. Got to have real money. That's the bottom line. So silver, as long as I've been just purchasing whenever I can, I'm doing great. I'm sure a lot of you are fine unless you got in late. But you know, like last year sometime, just keep getting a little bit whenever you can. You're gonna be fine. There's just no way around it. I mean, they can't keep fighting this forever. So in regards to that, CFTC silver investigation. You know, Sunday night they came out, Financial Times, saying that insiders were saying they're going to drop the 4-year investigation, insufficient evidence. And so Bart Chilton, the commissioner, comes out of the CFTC and says, no, that was premature and inaccurate. So Ted Butler just wrote an article. I put it on Moneybags World. Link will be below. And if you remember, in October 2010, Chilton said, and I quote, "There have been fraudulent efforts to persuade and deviously control the price." Quote, end quote. Talking about silver. So we'll see what happens. Ted didn't sound very optimistic. He said, you know, he was at the forefront of trying to alert about this whole manipulation for like over 20 years, 25 years. Since 1986, you know, there's been evidence of this. So he said this in the article. For one thing, nobody likes admitting that they had royally screwed up, and if the commission were to bring manipulation charges now in silver, it would be admitting that it missed the wrongdoing for the previous 2 decades. Which is a good point, despite continuous and documented warnings since 1986. So he's not very optimistic, but he does lay out a case where even if they don't come out and do anything, it can still be positive for silver. So good little read here, maybe 10-minute read, depending on how fast you read. And so this came out today. So something else that I wanted to talk about is this whole shift in consciousness that we're having and waking up process that I talked about in a video, and a lot of you shared with me the process of waking up to what's really going on. I mean, things just don't happen the way that I was taught they happened growing up. There's this whole hidden thing going on of control and manipulation and mind control and media bias. I have something really interesting I found talking about media bias going back into the mid-1800s. I mean, this is nothing new, people. I mean, this has been going on. I found something real interesting. I'm going to read in here. I get these comments where, you know, I'm an idiot and stuff like that. I mean, I've been putting myself out there for 3 years, 250 videos. I've learned to let this stuff roll off my back. But I can't help but try and wake people up, and that's a lot of what I try to do in these videos. And there have been people that stumbled upon the videos, and they said, man, you're the first person here on YouTube to wake me up. And that's just such a great feeling that really is a great feeling. And so anyway, I know you guys tell me don't waste my time, but I was thinking I'll put his comment, link to his comment below, and maybe if he gets bombarded with 5 or 10 people going in there saying, dude, wake up, what are you talking about? Maybe it'll make him think twice about, but you know, you can't, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. Anyhow, here's a comment. It's on my Warren Buffett says gold is useless video. So Mr. Buffett's the richest man on earth. Okay, well, that's wrong. The greatest investor ever seen, a prolific, talented writer, an outstanding philosopher, and astute business observer, and arguably the most generous philanthropist in history. You, sir, are wearing a cheap tie, saying nonsense, proven wrong by 2 centuries of monetary policy history, and recording lame videos from your car. Let blockheads believe what blockheads say. Okay, dude, whatever. I mean, I haven't replied yet. This, to me, is funny. Whatever, I don't care what he says. It doesn't matter. I have, confidence in what I say. I've done my homework. Someone like this is basing off just what they know throughout their life, which, if you haven't woken up, you're just in this bubble of what's really happening. Who's pulling the strings? So, this guy says, 2 centuries of monetary policy history prove me wrong. I got 5,000 years on my side. I got one of the richest men in the world, J.P. Morgan, 100 years ago saying gold is money and nothing else. I mean, I have more than, 2 centuries against me. Whatever. You guys know all this. I'm not going to get into all that, but so anyhow, that's that. Maybe we can help this guy out somehow. And so the last thing I wanted to do real quick, I found this here. We all know how biased the media is and how they having a mind control, trying to have us trained to believe certain things and leading us one direction or the next. Where's it at here? So John Swinton in 1860 was appointed the head of the editorial staff of the New York Times. And he was a supporter of Abraham Lincoln, and he wrote extensively about the American Civil War. Well, he never mentioned anything during his career about what was really going on. And so in 1880, 20 years afterwards, when he was at the end of his career, he let it all out. This is what was happening then, and this is what's happening now. Quote, "There is no such thing at this stage of the world's history in America as an independent press." This is 1880. You know it and I know it. There's not one of you, this is addressing the journalists in New York City, at some conference. There's not one of you who dare write your honest opinions. And if you did, you know beforehand that it would never appear in print. And I'm paid weekly for keeping my honest opinions out of the paper I'm connected with. Others of you are paid similar salaries for similar things, and any of you who would be foolish as to write honest opinions would be out on the streets looking for another job. If I allowed my honest opinions to appear in one issue of my papers, before 24 hours my occupation would be gone. The business of the journalist is to destroy the truth, to lie outright, to pervert, vilify, to fawn at the feet of mammon, and to sell his country and his race for his daily bread. You know it and I know it, and what folly is this toasting an independent press? We are the jumping jacks. They pull the strings and we dance. Our talents, our possibilities, and our lives are all the property of other men. We are intellectual prostitutes, says the ex-editor of the New York Times.